Shemuel Beit, 2 Samuel, chapter 8. And after this it came to be that David struck the Philistines and humbled them. And David took the bridle of the mother city out of the hand of the Philistines. He also struck Moab and measured them off with a line, causing them to lie down on the earth. With 2 lines he measured off those to be put to death, and with 1 complete line those to be kept alive. Then the Moabites became David's servants and brought presents. David also struck Hadadezer, son of Rehob, sovereign of Zobah, as he went to restore his rule at the river Euphrates. And David captured from him 1,700 horsemen and 20,000 foot soldiers. And David destroyed all the chariots, but he left of them 100 chariots. And the Arameans of Damascus came to help Hadadezer, sovereign of Zobah, and David struck 22,000 of the Arameans. Then David put watch posts in Aram of Damascus, and the Arameans became David's servants and brought presents. And Jehovah saved David wherever he went. And David took the shields of gold which were on the servants of Hadadezer and brought them to Jerusalem. And from Betah and from Berothai, cities of Hadadezer, sovereign David took very much bronze. And Toi, sovereign of Hamath, heard that David had stricken all the army of Hadadezer. So Toi sent Joram, his son, to sovereign David to ask peace of him and bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer and struck him. For Hadadezer had battles with Toi. And Joram brought with him objects of silver and objects of gold and objects of bronze. Sovereign David also set these apart to Jehovah, along with the silver and gold that he had set apart from all the nations which he had humbled, from Aram, and from Moab, and from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines, and from Amalek, and from the spoil of Hadadezer, son of Rehob, sovereign of Zobah. And David made a name for himself when he returned from striking 18,000 Arameans in the valley of Salt. And he put watch posts in Edom. Throughout all Edom he put watch posts, and all the Edomites became David's servants. And Jehovah saved David wherever he went. And David reigned over all Israel, and David was doing right ruling and righteousness to all his people. And Joab, son of Zeruiah, was over the army, and Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was recorder. And Zadok, son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, son of Abiathar, were the priests. And Sariah was the scribe. And Benayahu, son of Jehoiada, was over both the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and David's sons were priests. Chapter 9. And David said, Is there still anyone who is left of the house of Shaul, that I might show him loving commitment because of Jehonathan? And the house of Shaul had a servant, whose name was Ziba. And they had called him to David, and the sovereign said to him, Are you Ziba? And he said, Your servant. And the sovereign said, Is there not still someone of the house of Shaul, so that I show him the loving commitment of Elohim? And Ziba said to the sovereign, There is still a son of Jehonathan, lame in his feet. So the sovereign said to him, Where is he? And Ziba said to the sovereign, See, he's in the house of Machir, son of Amiel, in Lodabar. And sovereign David sent and brought him out of the house of Machir, son of Ammiel, from Lodabar. And Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, son of Shaul, came to David and fell on his face and did obeisance. And David said, Mephibosheth. And he answered, Here is your servant. David then said to him, Do not fear, for I shall certainly show you loving commitment because of Jonathan your father, and shall return you all the land of Shaul your grandfather, and let you eat bread at my table continually. And he bowed himself and said, What is your servant, that you should turn to such a dead dog as I? Then the sovereign called Ziba, servant of Shaul, and said to him, I have given your master's son all that belonged to Shaul and to all his house. And you and your sons and your servants shall work the land for him, and you shall bring in its yield, and your master's son shall have food to eat. But let Mephibosheth, your master's son, eat bread at my table always. And Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. And Ziba said to the sovereign, According to all that my master the sovereign has commanded his servant, so your servant does. As for Mephibosheth, said the sovereign, he shall eat at my table as one of the sons of the sovereign. And Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was Micah, and all who dwelt in the house of Ziba were servants of Mephibosheth. When Mephibosheth was dwelling in Jerusalem, he ate continually at the sovereign's table, and he was lame in both feet. First Chronicles chapter 18. And after this it came to be that David struck the Philistines and humbled them, and took Gath and its towns from the hand of the Philistines. And he struck the Moabites, and the Moabites became David's servants and brought presents. And David struck Hadadezer, sovereign of Zobah, as far as Hamath, and he went to establish his power by the river Euphrates. And David took from him 1,000 chariots, and 7,000 horsemen, and 20,000 foot soldiers. And David also hamstrung all the chariot horses, but left of them for 100 chariots. And when Aram of Damasek came to help Hadadezer, sovereign of Zobah, David struck 22,000 of Aram. And David stationed men in Aram of Damasek, and the Arameans became David's servants and brought presents. And Jehovah saved David wherever he went. And David took the shields of gold that were on the servants of Hadadezer and brought them to Jerusalem. And from Tibhath and from Kun, cities of Hadadezer, David brought a large amount of bronze, with which Shalomo made the bronze sea and the columns and the vessels of bronze. And when Tou, sovereign of Hamath, heard that David had stricken all the army of Hadadezer, sovereign of Zobah, he sent Hadaram, his son, to sovereign David to ask peace of him and bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer and struck him, because Hadadezer had been fighting against Tou, and brought all kinds of objects of gold and silver and bronze. Sovereign David also set these apart to Jehovah, along with the silver and the gold that he had brought from all the nations, from Edom and from Moab and from the children of Ammon and from the Philistines and from Amalek. And Abishai, son of Zeruiah, struck 18,000 Edomites in the valley of Salt, and he put watchposts in Edom, and all the Edomites became David's servants. And Jehovah saved David wherever he went. So David reigned over all Israel, and he was doing right ruling and righteousness to all his people. And Joab, son of Zeruiah, was over the army, and Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was recorder, and Zadok, son of Ahitub, and Abimelech, son of Abiathar, were the priests. And Shasha was the scribe. And Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was over the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and the sons of David were chiefs at the sovereign's side.